looking just at the relatively small world of archives, we, together with many sister institutions in Europe and the Anglo-Saxon world, name for some years already the digital turn as the major issue. Our institutional development appears as intrinsically linked to the technological development. Technology is our challenge, our driver, and our opportunity as well. ICT and administration, ICT and archives is also about an entwined present. This present has, of course, its historical roots. Even in our small and young institution, at least in the Swiss archival landscape, the Swiss Federal Archives are only founded in 1798 by the first modern, not to say the first real democratic state, the Helvetic Republic. Ergo, we are an institution older than the federal state itself. Even in our own institution, we daily meet traces of this entwined history while working with our own holdings. The archives change from old manuals in a large variety of formats to modern records in constantly more standardized paper formats and language, further on to modern digital records, databases, and other information collections. They change from handwritten unicums to typewritten, mechanically duplicated papers, onwards to computer-produced information. At various moments in this history appear new medias, like images, sound documents, and others. They change from long-lasting, high-quality paper and ink to industrialized paper, difficult to preserve, as at risk of auto-destruction. Further on to purely virtual information, not only difficult to preserve, but sometimes already difficult to catch. Therefore, the production of what has ended and hopefully will continue to end in our storage rooms, respectively in our digital repository, as archival material reflects a constant development shaped by changing techniques. For me, however, in a broader context, the entwined history is more than changes in the material history of archives. It's about our function and the way to fulfill it. To use a buzzword, it is about e-government turn, often in combination with an open government concept and ideas about a modernized governance. That governance for the 21st century goes beyond pure technical issues, but the underlying technical elements have a potential to change political and social concepts as well. ICT particularly has a power to plow up our traditional ways of working, even though the technical influence can by no means be understood as limited to emerging ICT use in the public administration. If we understand the technical impacts not only as a superficial and accidental, but as triggers for fundamental changes, then it's not only about transposing proven and reliable bureaucratic techniques into a technically new environment. It's indeed more about a reinvention of government and administration, even, at least in our perspective, the continuous respect for democratic principles and an ongoing conformity with the principle of the rule of law are not negotiable. However, the federal relations, the relation between the state and the citizen may be at stake. When we invite you to a conference like the one which is about to start, then we see the reasons for organizing it on the one hand in our constant need to enhance our understanding of our archived material. Understanding archives is largely also its contextualization, an intellectual, a legal, an organizational, and last but not least, a material contextualization. Beyond this interest related to what we already have archived, there is, on the other hand, an important interest in a solid understanding of the actually ongoing administrative changes. It is not a linear development from Max Weber's bureaucratic techniques to modern record management. It might rather contribute to a failure if we would treat modern techniques just as a further development of old traditional techniques. If we do use the IT just as an enormously powerful typewriter, if we would preserve organizational structures for paper record management in an IT environment, instead of making full profit of the opportunities offered, for instance, by the Web 1, 2, 3, and ongoing, or even to contribute to technical development. If we follow James Lapin's remark that, and that's a quotation, that in the 20th century records management did not create the hard copy file, but that it was the other way around. The hard copy file created records management, then I'm curious to see what ICT will create and how we can continue to assure accountability and transparency in a new technical social environment. In other terms, we organize such a conference not only because we are essentially historians, but mainly because we are archivists, information managers, and information custodians. We have a mission to contribute to good governance under the condition of e-government too, to be a strong element in an information supply infrastructure freely accessible for everybody. A conference with that issue is quite new, at least for Switzerland. Therefore, we are very pleased to have such a large audience and input from Swiss as well as foreign institutions. I thank already now all participants for their input, and I hope we will have fruitful and instructive discussions. Now I give the floor to Peter Flair and Guido Koller, who organized this conference. Peter Flair will introduce you to the different panels. Thank you very much for coming and enjoy these 2 days.